One day in the November of 1858, an American young man walked quickly up to the main door of the Paris Opera. He smoothed his slicked hair back and crosses the entrance. The lobby looked like a forest of hats. The gentlemen went with elegant ladies. The bell rang and the young man went straight to the box. The first thing he saw is a chessboard with the pieces ready to start. The deposed Duke Karl of Brunswick, standing and talking with another gentleman, had invited him to come here as his guest. Both of them are strong players. Duke Karl said, "Bonsoir, I introduce you to the Count of Vauvenargues, who will help me in the game tonight. Count, I am pleased to introduce Mr. Paul Morphy. Nice to meet you. I have heard a lot about you." Morphy nodded politely but thought for sure that they wouldn't let him enjoy the opera tonight. When the three took seats, the light went out, a silence prevailed, and only the sound of the chess pieces. Morphy started with e4, and two notable mans responded with e5. Knight to f3, developing and attacking the e5 pawn. Black responded with d6, the Philidor defense. Pawn to d4, occupying the center. Bishop to g4, pinning the knight on f3. D captures on e5. If d captures e5, white will exchange queen and take e5 with the knight. White wins a pawn. Black king is unable to castle. Morphy has a winning advantage. So back the position. Instead of taking the white pawn on e5, bishop captures f3. Queen takes back f3, and now d takes e5. Morphy develops bishop to c4, threatening checkmate on f7. Black develops knight f6 to defend against the threat. But now, queen to b3 attacks both f7 and b7. In this difficult position, black chooses queen to e7, guarding the pawn on f7. If white rushes to take b7, black will play queen to b4, check, forcing the exchange of queens and solves the attack of white. So instead of taking b7, white develops knight to c3, adding more pieces to control the center. Black pushes pawn to c6, prevents knight from jumping to b5 or d5, and opens up for black queen to protect b7. White continues developing bishop to g5, pins black knight on f6. Now you could see black is in danger when bishop f8 and rook h8 can't develop. Knight f6 is pinned. On the queen side, rook and knight are difficult to develop as well. To solve these problems, black pushes pawn to b5, attacks white bishop to relieve pressure on f7. If bishop goes back, white will lose a time that would allow black to improve their poor development. So instead of running bishop, Morphy continues his attack by sacrificing his knight to b5, and its brilliant move. C captures b5. Bishop takes b5, checks. Morphy has changed a knight for two pawns and give a check. If king runs to d8, white will castle queenside and check. So black plays knight to d7, blocking the check. But white still castling, bringing the rook to d1, dominates the open d-file and increases pressure on d7. Now black has no way but rook to d8 protects the knight. Thought that white doesn't do anything. But rook takes d7, sacrificing rook. The best way for black is captures h7 with the rook. And now it is pinned by the white bishop. Morphy develops his last piece by rook 8 to d1, keeping pressure on d7. Black plays queen to a6, release the knight and bishop, and offer exchange the queens. If queen takes e6, f takes e6. After exchanging, the pressure of white decreases significantly. So instead of exchanging queens, Morphy plays bishop takes d7, checks. Here, black should sacrifice queen for white bishop. The game will last longer. However, black changes knight for bishop instead, and this is a blunder. Take this opportunity, queen to b8. Brilliant. An elegant queen sacrifice that forces the black knight take the white queen. And finally, rook d8, checkmate. White has only two pieces, but it's sufficient to execute the black king. With only 17 moves, Paul Morphy defeated two gentlemen from Germany and France, creating an earthquake in France at that time. This game is often taught to coaches about the importance of piece development, the initiative in attack, the cost of sacrificing when combining checkmate, and many other concepts in chess. It became one of the most famous chess games and became known as the opera game. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye and see you later.